Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, yay.
Hey, it's Gabby the game night, and I'm back playing some more thing. Apollo Justice Ace Attorney Man Fantasy, and it's April 12th, 14 p.m. This is a code on to. There's not Phoenix Wright. There's Apollo Justice. Court now reconvene. Has a witness, Miss Olga legal comment.
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear a version of the events again.
That's the thing. You see, she's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigue is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. The defense would like to request that Ms. Orley take the stand.
Very well. Witness will take the stand. I'm taking the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poorer loser.
Nyai, not.
Pardon?
She's not even Russian. Do I keep the voice up? What's the call here, director?
Okay, do you want to keep the voice off or put Sonny switch to Australia or something?
It's your call, man.
You pick. Look at what you see and call it from there.
Well, I mean, Olga still sounds like a Russian name.
I mean, yeah.
Name's Olga Orley, that's the truth. I'm a pro dealer. People call me Olga Quick Fingers Orley.
Oh really?
Want to know something else? I'm not really...
Fuck!
Oh, she's fucking Irish now?
Oh, God.
I'm not really Russian. And my last name sounds like O'Reilly.
Oh, no, she's an Irish pirate.
There, that's the truth. Hope you're satisfied.
The spreading.
Wait. Apologies to all the Irish folk watching.
Especially the Irish pirates.
Well, I mean...
Witness, you'll tell the court what you were really up to that night.
Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, see?
I remind you that you're currently under oath, and for the fabrication to have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was punted at the Ball Club several days prior to the night of the game. As a waitress.
So you're in cahoots with the victim?
Not that he needed my help. Smith is a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of his game. It was about destroying a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, it was a bit trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You swap the cards.
I exposed the cheater and losing on top of it. It would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces.
Indeed. Getting caught red-handed cheating would cast down all aspirants.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh, really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree. The trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card?
Hey, that's right.
Oh, you're here? He's lucky. I'll give him that. You had to be to slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quick Fingers Orley.
Oh, really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind stick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute?
Me.
I'm not cute. I'm bad. You hear me? Bad. I'm a pirate.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was sprung. First laid traps.
That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. The next moment, Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant. Who didn't really cheat, but you know.
I suppose my friend's testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The route was perfect, I tell you. Perfect, if that rotten cheater hadn't messed it up.
Look who's talking. Well, that's my Wordsworth. Oh, yes, Mr. Justice. Witnesses like her, who needs criminals? Defense like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Oh, go early.
Orally.
Yeah, no.
You're not making that sound more like a sex act. Or a different manner of delivering a presentation.
This planted card, which card was it exactly?
Trump card. The 5 of hearts.
Let me guess, Mr. Wright. Was just the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you're going to accuse him of doing.
I slid it into Wright's pocket.
When was this?
Why, before the match, of course. While he was eating. At the Borscht Bowl Club, we served borscht and suckers.
I mean, never go there.
Of course, the card was to make his grand debut during the game. Like a good borscht, a good plot must be cooked up early and allowed to thicken.
So, everything went according to plan.
Exactly. The 5th ace came up, so it's obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Once the extra card was found in his pocket, Wright would be forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
Two most things we know, I suppose. That's what happened with such. The card disappeared?
Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone. Well, that's race. Poof, zippo. We searched every nook and cranny. Even inside his cute little hat.
The card was nowhere to be found, is this correct?
Never in my long storied career. Never has quick fingers early been so readily duped.
Oh, really? Joe, what did happen to 5 hearts?
Don't look at me. Why don't you ask that cheating, lying, two-faced defendant?
So the 5 hearts still missing in action. Wait, isn't that a little odd?
What's odd?
You touched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing? Which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim.
Well?
What? What was that just now? I sent something. Something wrong, Mr. Justice? No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press it a little harder? Miss Orley, you're hiding something.
What are you talking about? You? Me? Quick fingers already? Hide something?
The defense will refrain from baseless accusations.
I have one question with the witness then. Say you saw the moment that Fan hit the victim. Is this true?
Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it.
What's this red violin game?
That witness, for instance, Miss Early. She would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice?
Touching her neck, was it? Whoa, what's going on? The sensation. It's coming into focus. There, that twitch is so clear. It's like I could perceive a habit I couldn't before. Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself.
Unaware of what?
Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand.
My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I didn't notice anything of the sort.
Lucy says that part of the testimony. She's constantly recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
Memory. Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
It's highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. I'm the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory loss? A habit of scratching a necklace talks about the moment of the crime. So am I almost the moment of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. What else happens when you think about the moment of the crime? There must be some reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left I believe I believe the weapon that left a thing on your freaking face is this. I don't know.
Wait, what are we looking for? I believe the weapon that left an erasable impression on your neck is this. She got hit with the bottle?
I don't know, I got nothing else.
Whenever
she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. Reminds me more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon. But something doesn't fit. If you're only the witness to the crime, why would that make you touch your neck like you've been in pain?
What's he talking about?
It was Mrs. Smith, the victim, who was hit, not you.
This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit, I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination.
I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's the only chance to break up. Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Why are you washing again?
Yet I am knowing nothing.
We know you're not washing. The witness will testify, please, now.
Bah, fine. Oh, is that new?
Yes.
Okay, never mind.
Ask me, but you seem uneasy.
You try standing up there.
Why is the dog all over the place? It must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like?
Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of a crime. He sat in a daze at that table until the cops came.
False.
Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of this witness. So what do you think about her testimony?
I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It was basically bogus. I gotta look at the evidence.
What's that?
Well, shows this evidence, Mr. Justice. Evidence that you claim contradicts their testimony. See, I'm excited that the cops got that. There's some evidence that contradicts that. Yeah, he left. Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what he said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. Dumbass!
Yeah.
And we know the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made that phone call from the first floor of the Bush Bowl Club. So, explain how you kept your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. Get fucking wrecked.
The man who picked up a ball and swung it that night wasn't the defendant.
Easy, boys! Not guilty. Let's get out of here.
You might want to stop that tapping.
Yeah, probably. Shouldn't have. I don't know who's saying what or whatever.
You dirty cheat!
Okay.
Oh, sorry. No, go ahead.
Check his pockets now.
It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Just then Smith dropped the ball from next to Wright. And he hit me.
You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. your eek, but so.
I came too.
The victim was already dead, is that?
That's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If it came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, let's leave us.
Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with a bottle, and I'm imagining all of this.
Appears our prosecution is as wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir?
I believe that, as the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss O'Reilly a big fat liar.
What?
3 were in that room the night of the murder, the defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive.
A motive?
The plot foiled, the witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder.
What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me.
What tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright?
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin. What are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder.
Right, like Mr. Wright was saying for recess.
A single card was swapped into the victim's hand after the murder, and the one who swapped the card didn't know 2 colors of cards were being used. A 4th person.
Huh. This theory again. Your 4th person doesn't exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided to us. And right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about?
Sorry?
Remember what I said? The 4th person who swapped the cards made one critical error.
He or she wasn't considering the color on the back of the cards.
Right. But how could such an obvious mistake occur? The cards used for the last game were red. Yet, there's one person here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue.
Yeah, I had that impression too, but why?
Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
Who is this 4th person?
That's
Why do
you.
I always get put on the spot like this?
Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue?
Okay, well, her. Vincent Payne wasn't there. I didn't know for a fact Vincent Payne wasn't there. He's dead. Nothing. Was it Christoph? Is that dude the murderer? I mean, not many other options here. I don't think it was Payne. I highly doubt it was Payne, in fact. Payne was the murderer. I'd have problems.
I wouldn't. And Mac finally stopped doing his damn voice. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair.
I was right?
Christoph Gavin, you were the 4th person that night.
But of course Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards.
How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue, the ones on the floor or the table.
But look! These are the colors in this photo.
Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, It was well before this evidence came to light.
Damn.
It's true the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
Competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs weathered, their backs wreathed in a blue flame, know its final outcome. I did that on purpose because I messed up last time too, so I wanted to be close to it. Well, Kristoff?
Mr. Gavin? Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
No, nothing. Excuse me, it was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Kristoff? You know even I never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous, beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant accusing his own defense attorney of murder?
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
Yes, but Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting? Is the truth Mr. Wright was staying silent about? Well, one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request that you testify to the court.
The defense would like to request no such thing.
Mr. Gavin?
Testimonies must relate to the case. How could anything happening before the game of poker be related?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss O'Reilly...
Am I to assume that you speak for Mr. Justice and that he is the defense, not you? Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you. Oh, okay. Does the court, in your opinion, need to hear... Fuck yeah, it needs to hear his testimony. This was Mr. Wright's strategy. He was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court.
You're getting a little wild, dude.
I'm sorry.
At 2, Justice. You would betray me, your teacher?
I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Very well. The defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand. Please. I'll type for order.
That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold and Smith was uncontrollable. I left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to defense attorney Gavin.
Mr. Gavin, you're at the Possible Club deny the murder.
I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will, I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might be in need of a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I want is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing you a favor when we took your defense. It appears I was wrong.
Very well. The defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice.
Sir?
He's lying, and you're going to expose him.
Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin was Mr. White. This can't end well. I can't have a normal trial. Why can't this be a normal trial? With Phoenix? No way.
You had dinner with Mr. Gavin?
That's my line!
I'm sorry, I'm so used to
dinner
being...
with Mr. Gavin?
Yeah, he dines with me at the Borscht Bowl Club quite frequently. We were enjoying a usual dinner at our usual spot, as usual.
Usual?
I always eat at the table closest to the piano.
I see. But Mr. Smith was sitting.
So the plates and such on the table were from your dinner?
Indeed. The remnants of my meal with Kristoff. We dined for 2 hours, then Kristoff left. After that,
5 minutes? So the two of them could have passed in the restaurant during that time.
That would have been a fateful encounter, to be sure.
Hee. Oh, Mr. Wright. And what was it you said? Christoph Gavin and Shady Smith may have met?
I believe I did say that.
Here I was, all nervous about this meeting. And now we hear they just passed in the hall?
Does him a little weak as reasons for murder.
Oh, it would be, if that were all that really happened.
Come on, Miss White. What are you hiding this time? Not this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga earlier mentioned.
The plan was simple, elegant, really, you see. We set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand. And then deal 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call them out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut.
You shot the cards.
Arr.
Ah,
We're all pirates.
it's down there.
Just like that, the legend would be dashed to pieces. Dashed, I tell you. It was a dashing plan.
Papa Phineas.
Kupo.
Papa.
Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by quirk of fate that I happened to discover it. Ah, quirk. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found the card.
The card she planted.
Yeah, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
An empty bottle of grape juice?
The motor weapon?
Now did I say that? I didn't, but that was what it was. I rolled it up and shoved it in. The colored glass makes it hard to see.
There's no damn card in there. A power of victory, and the deceiver and the would be deceived. That sounds like trivial drama. Card inside the motor weapon? That's strange. The police must end their investigation. Maybe I'll take a look. Mr. Wright, the poker had the courtroom number 3 up. Who is Bowbit? Please raise testimony, but there's no information. It's gonna give me kind of bottle. Caught in the bottle! Mr. Wright, if I may,
Yes?
I've examined the bottle and I don't see any card in there.
No?
What? Mr. Wright, surely isn't all you have to say for yourself.
I can't say that I know what happened to the card. I did put it in that bottle, however.
Huh?
Perhaps a 5th person came and took it out. Oh, and a 6th person could have helped.
Mr. Gabby, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. We looked inside that bottle. There was nothing.
So what's going on? Is Mr. Wright hoodwinking us again? Or did the card just disappear? In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradictions call for decisive evidence. Oh.
Push him harder, Justice. Break him. It's just you and the witness in the ring. Go for the KO.
Why do I get the feeling that on our client's side anymore? Why in the bottle?
I perceived my opponent's intent immediately. I'm used to entrapment, you see. I knew what was coming.
Oh, trade struck first. I like that.
I know every trick in the book. They don't work on me.
At least when you get lucky and stick your hand in the pocket, you don't.
Fuck off, Apollo.
You made the call to the police from the first floor of the restaurant, correct?
Exactly. Cell phones don't get a signal down in the hideout.
Was down and I was on the first floor at the time.
Not a soul. It was the middle of the night, after all. So there, in the darkened restaurant, I called the cops. After making the call, I returned to the hideout. It didn't seem right to leave the injured waitress alone.
I mean, turn, the victim was already
Dead, yes. I'll admit, I was a little startled when I walked in.
How did I told him?
He was bleeding from his forehead after all.
I guess I'd be shot too if I can't see it again. Did you explain why you called Mr. Gabby?
I'd obviously gotten involved in a rather sticky affair. And I figured Kristoff's law office would give me a friend rate for my defense fees. Ah, glad to hear you intend to pay. Oh, I'll pay in full, Kristoff. It was I who got you involved, after all. You may find the price of your defense quite high, my good friend. Quite high.
Is this the truth that Mr. Wright is talking about?
Justice, you know what you have to do. He's lying. Expose him, now.
Yes, sir. Wait, what's Mr. Wright trying to tell me with this testimony? Just have to be in this somewhere. Okay, now the thing is, how would he, like, okay, sure we see it here. But in this, you wouldn't be able to tell about the cut in the forehead. This is supposedly how the crime scene was. Where it's found. So you won't be able to see that. Mr. White, if I may,
Yes?
take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead.
Good point. Justice. Next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it.
Mr. White, can you explain this good?
Ah, I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put that hat on his head.
Eh?
You?
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like in this photograph.
And?
I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
Why'd you do such a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry. But that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene.
So, Miss Willie didn't see it? It being the victim's of his head?
I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Well, here we go again.
Mr. Gavin?
Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case.
Hey, he's still a client, isn't he?
I believe that's enough of that.
Mr. Gavin?
This witness testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who did the first time.
Mr. White, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never.
Okay, talking about lawyers and ages, I got one better for you. Franziska and Maya are the same age.
Oh, yeah.
Which means Franziska was the lawyer at like 17.
Yeah.
Which is,
I think her first case was at like 13.
which is ridiculous.
I think she had her first case at 13. I think that's part of the law.
I just happened to glance over the timeline here while I was waiting for some more dialogue. Anyway, don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here.
Eh?
When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
That reason is right here.
Yeah, cell phone?
That night, recall that I spoke with Defense Attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this?
Oh.
Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Kristoff, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good? He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him, hard. You mean someone cracked that flawless bone china pate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that.
Bone china plate?
I swear there was not an L in that dialogue. I swear when they showed Christoph's dialogue, it said P-A-T-E, and that's why I stumbled over it. Okay, I'm so sorry, my apologies. I got ahead of myself. A kind of porcelain, very smooth and shiny, and not plate, but pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
Contributions, defense, discussion, not indicating my forehead. Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Boys Ball Club?
Most certainly.
Then how'd he know? When did he see this bone china plate? Oh, that's right.
Yes. That was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene. And when I spotted Mr. Smith's head again, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you'd like to explain this to the court. Exactly how did you come by your privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So this is your reason? The reason why you put the victim's hat back on? Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this. Has it, Phoenix Wright?
Order, I will have order. Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Prepare to hear the defense attorney Gavin's testimony.
Well, as the prosecutor, I...
Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes, for which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are you all clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well. Let's make the final recess for the day. April 20th, 2:32 p.m. District Court Defend Lobby Number 3. Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who would have thought today would turn like this? Oh, fuck. I don't have a Trixie voice. What? Hello, sir. Please, pick a card.
Wait, did you make her British?
No?
Okay.
What's all this about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all. An ace. Where do you remember that card from?
Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright's 2. It is 5 aces in all. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. That was cheating, I swear to you.
Trucy, I'm pretty sure is like the Maya of this game, so I'm doing the main defense attorney and the assistant voice, like you've been doing the first 3 games. The missing 5th ace. Wait, this blots of red. Is this blood? Oh, my Trucy voice kinda sucks, probably. You have your trump card, now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth.
It's just sort of like a less hyper Maggie.
Yeah. Look, I can't do gold voices.
And I can?
Look, do you want me to make a British? My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it.
No.
My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. Or I can make it Australian. I can't do an Australian accent. No, I can't.
My father's fight is in your hands. I know you can do it.
Yeah, no.
By the way, why's Master Roshi back there?
I love Dragon Ball Z.
Well, he goes back to the original Dragon Ball.
This bloodstained card. My trump card found the truth. How old? Where was Trucy born? I'm definitely older than her. She's like, what, 16?
I don't know. I'll look.
Fell deep in thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl, I'd seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. In the locket. In the locket. It's his daughter.
She was
Blood.
born sometime between 2010 and 2011.
Damn. Young ass motherfucker.
Well, at this point, she's 15 or 16.
Yeah. April 20th, 2025, to the court. Wait, do I have on the profile? No, not yet. Court number 2. Court will now reconvene. Defense to request of Gavin. Will you please take the stand?
Hello.
Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. The witness will please state your occupation.
Is this force necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone in this court.
Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat? The secret, I'm guessing, is the fact that Mr. Smith is bald.
Forgive my curiosity, but what is it about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have an inordinate interest in.
Oh, hi, Phoenix.
I wouldn't call it inordinate, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Wright?
Can you just teleport now?
Yeah, that's what I'm about again, and that's what happens when you get really good at poker.
What do you think you're doing, Wright? Wow. Oh, hell, that just all wrote itself. Things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo?
Huh?
Nothing? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off, except for that one time.
That one time, in the instant he was hit. Oh! Mr. White returned from the pulling the crime. The hat was lying on the floor. Mr. White picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have to have been there in the hideout at the time of the crime.
In other words, I must be the real killer. Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah.
Not bad, Apollo.
Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid in the current situation I see little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell the truth of what happened that night.
Finally, begin your testimony. God, this is going on too long. Tell us how you involved in the events of that fateful night.
The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked through the little window to the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place. The victim was dead as he appears in the photo. A bald head, an unconscious girl, and Wright holding a bottle in his hand. I sensed that was not the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Wright.
So, you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the deed.
Mr. Gavin, may I remind you how you're on Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony is going to disadvantageous to your client. You should be lying in court, bro.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand after all. So you are, Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify as you just did. You had to tell them you saw the scene of the crime through that little window.
Mr. Wright?
You had to say that, because that was the only probable window of opportunity. Right, Apollo?
Oh. Mr. Wright, the defense do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Miss Justice, are you prepared? Yes, Your Honor, I am prepared. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial's getting weirder and weirder. The way you just sensed the man that I told me, so I returned to the club and down the basement. I peeked through the little window. Tell me about the little window. Tell me about the little window. Tell me about the little window. You mean the one used to keep a watch up the stairs?
Yes, a relic of the ancient past. The Black Marketeers used it, I believe.
Why did you go through the trouble peeking in through the window? Won't have been easier to open the door and go into the room?
Didn't want to upset Wright, you see.
Upset Mr. Wright?
Yes, what if my fears had been unfounded? I'd be walking another match. Bad form, to say the least.
So far, everything's making sense. How do you know it was right after murder?
Really, no need to shout, Justice. I was just getting to that part of my testimony. Ah, there he is, the coolest defense in the West we know and love. Even when you're standing up there on the witness stand, some things never change. I was afraid you'd change too, Wright, but you haven't. You and that overbearing personality of yours.
Friends like these are its enemies. By photo, you mean the second photograph of the crime scene?
Precisely, you see, he wasn't wearing his hat then. I saw his head when he was dead.
Then Mr. Wright came along and replaced his hat.
Can you describe the scene of the crime for us?
Those were three at the same crime?
Yes, as far as I saw at least.
Then we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. My office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend.
There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime.
Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul.
But that goes against what Mr. Wright said.
Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose. Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer have to swap cards in the victim's hands? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary.
How can I show something I can't find myself?
Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace.
5th ace, right. Well, Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap out a card has been raised. Can you point to a reason? Yeah, let's do this. It's now or never. Dun, 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 dun. The defense would like to present evidence to the court. But some of the reason why a card was swapped out. Go ahead and point your reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace? Well, look at this. Bloody ace. It's got bloody on it. My reason is this.
Is that an ace?
Why, it's got blood on it. Why is it a spade?
What?
This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be? Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Inconceivable. How could you... What are you doing with that card?
Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's the fishy card from Fishy Goal.
Oh, that card? It's mine. That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl Club that night after the murder had occurred. I gave it to my daughter. Cards are her stock and trade, after all. No, impossible. Unacceptable. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? What? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason? The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this?
Take another look at the photo and at the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell to the floor. And a trickle of blood ran down his forehead, and down the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of that blood have fallen on one of the cards?
I suppose.
The killer then took the card to hide the blood. Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible. Oh? Right, regardless of how you wasted the last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer. You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss the finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question. What are you talking about? You wanted to know why the killer would have taken a card from the crime scene. And now I've told you that one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see. This is baseless conjecture. Baseless. Oh, I assure you it's quite based. What? It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Try picturing the scene of the crime in your head.
3D.
The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found at the poker table. And, before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on it in the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
What is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given there was a drop of blood on a card, whose position this diagram doesn't fit? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses? Whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card?
Well, I mean, the victim couldn't be here if the bloody card was on the table. Remember, it trickled down the back of his head. And if the bloody card was on the table, then that doesn't match up, right? Probably. Sounds to me. Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem? I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice. Well, look, the victim was struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You think any blood would fall behind him, not on the table in front of him? Ah! Take a look at the photo again. He bled in this position. Blood would fall on the floor, not on the cards. Why, that's right, so what does this mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swivel chairs.
Swivel chairs? Oh, man.
Apollo, try turning the chair around.
That chair was facing the other way? It'd have to be.
I feel like you're sort of going away from your natural voice in Apollo.
I'm just putting different, things. The victim's chair is facing away from the table. Putting different emotions into it. The minute I returned from informing the police, which way was the chair facing?
When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in this photo.
That would mean the killer turned the chair back around.
Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Again?
Let's test your reasoning skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on this diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, the witnesses, the second witnesses. Whose location creates a contradiction if the victim is facing away?
Would it be the killers? Because he would be in front of the victim? I would assume. Wait a second. That's matter, I guess. The victim was struck from the front, correct?
Indeed.
Well, won't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Standing where his indicator currently is.
I would think it'd be quite hard, yes. Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of a game? I believe a sufficient reason will soon come to light. What? There's something in this diagram that makes far less sense, actually. Look at the diagram. Apollo, if the victim was struck while he was sitting down, as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram.
What? But that wouldn't put him off where the killer should be.
Don't worry, let's think it through and see what we find. We know the victim was facing toward the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing we know for sure. Try to forget about everything else.
It'd have to be standing right here in the wall. Killer had to be standing all, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought of that too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim is facing a solid cupboard. Are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above? Ha!
It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that at the very moment of the crime...
Wait, I know. At the moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there. What's this now?
I mean, that's the only explanation. Right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboard in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send the team to the crime scene with me. Have them try and move the cupboard.
Your Honor?
What?
There's one more thing your men should look for. Please give this to the bailiff.
Yes. I see. You belong on the court after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing here at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't here. Which means... Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it has to have been shown as shown here. Now everything is in place to reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram of the crime scene once more. It appears we found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact.
Huh? Oh, dang.
Notice something, Apollo? Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point out the new contradicting indicator. Is the victim, the killer, the witness, the second witness? It's the second witness, obviously. Take that! About this cupboard. Are y'all okay with assuming it was moved?
Sure, why not?
Well, if it was, something really doesn't fit. The cupboard would completely cover up the window to the stairs. Ah! That's right, someone standing outside wouldn't be able to see it. Someone like Mr. Gavin!
What? What did you say? Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool? Don't expect me to play along with your little game, right? It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, while the window to that room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where did you witness the crime scene from?
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Order! There's a court of law and I have order!
We just received word from our investigative team at the Borscht Bowl Club.
Wow, that was really quick.
Now examine the cupboard in the hideout, Your Honor.
Oh? And what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out there's a secret passage behind it.
There's a secret what?
Ah, yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room many of our regulars know about.
I do remember saying something about that now that I mentioned it.
A secret passage is a handy thing to have when you're engaged in legal goings-on. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law.
So the room has a secret passage. Where does it go?
The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt. Just like our killer. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo?
I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't Kim and she said I needed the trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the mail was blocked and the victim's hat was only off his head for the few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something. Yeah, that's what really happened that night. Actually, I think we can probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith, a date with destiny. They crouched in the secret passageway behind the couple, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came, and he took it. Oh, I'm a pirate. Eek.
What? Somebody's gonna go get help.
Yeah. Miss Olga Early was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. The night killer stepped out from the secret passage in the hideout.
The victim must have heard the cover sliding aside. He wheeled
his chair around to look, and
after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood told the whole story of the crime.
Too bad Filmy didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor. And the fact that they were all red. Well, it seems this trial taking yet another turn. I'm truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Gavin? Mr. Payne?
Yeah, yes, Your Honor.
Prosecution will continue its investigation. So Mr. Phoenix Wright. The affair is hereby cleared of all suspicion.
Yeah.
Believe me when I say that I don't believe this happening, Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately. Oh, he's objecting.
Oh, no need to apologize. I rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin? Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked. that a person of your caliber would be taken in by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Oh, excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is use illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin, is there still any reason at present to suspect me of wrongdoing? Of course, this bottle, for instance.
The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking.
How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes, the fingerprints on the bottle were upside down.
So you recall this being an issue earlier.
The court, in this case, demand an explanation. I can think of only one reason why one would hold a bottle upside down, and that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle. Well, Your Honor? See how the caught fish squirms to the last? Well, Apollo?
Yes?
Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still, but I'm sure you can come up with a suitable explanation, just like that.
Yeah, just like what? What did anyone grab a bottle upside down other than you?
Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one.
Ball. What if we flip it upside down? This tells me nothing. Yeah, it tells me nothing. Is there really another?
Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there, in plain sight.
Am I perchance stupid? Yeah, I got it. How about you say the answer in plain words? Could be easier to live a verdict on answer question, indeed. Oh, Mr. Justice? She can't accept the current case to my explanation. Don't worry, justice won't leave until justice is done. Perhaps the defense will care to enlighten the court? Whatever do you have to explain? Why would they be upside down? Oh, maybe here, when he grabbed it, reached back, grabbed one. Maybe.
Maybe.
Like reached back on one of those. You grab him, they'd be upside down though. Yeah, fuck it. Let's go. It's actually easier to show you than explain, Your Honor. Place that ball on the floor next to your chair. Excuse me, on the floor? Yes. Now reach down and pick it up. Without getting out of your chair. See? You naturally go pick up the ball by its neck. With your fingers upside down. Easy. Look at the photograph taken the night of the murder. It's fair, Mr. White sat here, playing piano. Balls of grape juice on the floor to the side of his piano bench. He would have naturally picked up the balls upside down several times. Why? I can't believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too.
Basically, used the ball on the table to do the deed. But then he must have remembered. So he picked up the ball and balls from under the piano, and he switched the balls. You took one of Mr. White's balls and made it look like the murder weapon. Order, order, order. What are you going to say these changes, Mr. Gabby?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection.
What?
You claim that I switched the bottle. Where is your proof?
Proof? Well, that's,
As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Ah, yes. I remember about that here. The bottles were under the piano at the Post Bowl Club. And here's one of the bottles in question.
Were you going to dust that for fingerprints too? I'd be surprised if any were on that but his.
Mr. Gavin probably won't make us not think true. Oh, but it's trace of anything.
Say, Apollo,
Yeah?
why don't you go ahead and examine that bottle?
But why?
Just humor me.
What?
The bottle will solve this case once and for all.
What? That's some bottle. There's something inside the bottle. What's this?
That card, it can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment.
Miss Olga, really?
Yes, our little swindling Devotchka. Looking like that night I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the last hand just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. And the trap failed.
Wait, this isn't... Tell me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one you mentioned in this piece of testimony?
I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the Five of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed? What?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. The Five of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped.
Is this your card?
And the only one who could have done that was the fourth person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin.
God damn, he's going Super Saiyan! We did it.
That is all. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright?
Revenge?
Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic, straight and true. Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right?
This is insane. What about me? Don't I get to prosecute anyone?
I believe this time finally come to an end of our trial. Payne, you have a report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see. Still, one has to wonder why he'd do such a thing. He didn't have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on the matter.
About this victim, Mr. Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler. Not profession to be sure, that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good. Mr. Wright?
Yeah?
7 years, you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and a lawyer.
Extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed two things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice could be tolerated, this courtroom. The second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Me?
This is a dark time for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought on by our very own initial trial system. We have to set it right.
Mr. Wright.
Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it.
Oh, seems like a good time to announce a verdict. Let's go find the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Not guilty. It feels like there's still a lot of confusion here. But I assume maybe we'll find out some more later. Confetti. Court is adjourned. April 20th, 4:28 p.m. District Court, Defense Lobby, number 3. I did it.
Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would.
I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was you who could have missed the killer.
I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability.
Ability?
Yes, a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough.
Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness then. You said you saw the moment the defendant hit at the victim, correct? Yeah, is this true?
Of course it's true.
It's a weird vibe in the game. What was that, Mr. Wright?
You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself.
The answer. Right. Today was full of questions without answers, most of them about Mr. Gavin.
What possible reason could he have to commit murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come.
Huh? Wait. You don't know, do you?
This locket is the key.
Huh? Oh, that reminds me. I met the girl's pictures in the locket. Your daughter, right?
That's right. She's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket.
Eh?
I took this off his neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, this locket really did belong to him.
Wait, but that's perjury. You testified. You said that locket was yours.
I said no such thing, actually.
Huh?
I merely said that it was a locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth.
Wait, but then why? Why is the victim wearing a locket with the picture of your daughter inside it?
Sometimes the straightest path to the truth isn't the best one. Give it time. You're still just getting started with your career.
Speaking of which, I maybe have a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices after all. Can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs.
Apollo,
Yes?
how about coming to work for me?
Eh? You mean at the Wright & Co. Law Offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it.
I can't imagine that to be true, but...
Wait, but didn't you... You're not a...
Oh, I turned in my badge, yes. I'm not an attorney anymore.
The instance 7 years ago. That legendary trial. At the middle of it all was one man. Phoenix Wright. There he is, in the middle of the court. The case reached its sad conclusion and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts?
I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice, in today's trial, there was a single piece of forged evidence?
Forged evidence? What are you talking about?
I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick.
One piece of evidence struck me as it's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. But this was the forged evidence. I assume the bloody ace.
Yeah.
Because Gavin took it from the crime scene. You mean this, don't you? Got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright.
Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place. Luckily for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? I would think the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago.
Then you really...
Yes, I forged this card. One look at the crime scene should have told you it wasn't real.
But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney.
Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo?
So it's true. The rumor was true. 7 years ago.
None of that matters much now, does it?
I punched him.
It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office's address. Drop in if you like.
Mr. Wright.
Oh, about your uppercut. Try yelling, "Take that," next time. I find it packs a little more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time.
And for your uppercut, it's weak. That Mr. Wright walked out the door, and that's how my first try ended. A lot of mysteries were unsolved, and at the time, I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law. And that's how my story begins. Apollo then got hit by a bus the next day and died. The end.
Well, it was a short series then.
Thanks for watching this episode, Gabby. I like Oscar. Good to have visited. More importantly,
Good Wright. Phoenix Wright.
good night.
Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, Gabby the game night, yay. Come on and watch her play. New games every other day. If you subscribe now, you won't miss out on any of the action. So come on, click that subscribe button.